Hey, guess what? What?
Hold on.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are we doing it?
Yes, let me just check if we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube, on Twitter, LinkedIn. Again, LinkedIn of my beloved LinkedIn. Okay, minimize the interface in the other side, but I don't know how to. Oh, okay. There's a button about setting here. Okay, live stream. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see now if we're on. Supposed to be on LinkedIn. Well, you said guess what? While I'm doing that. Yeah.
I've got two guess whats for you.
Oh, shoot.
But are we live?
No, we're not live.
Okay. No, we're not live. Okay. Well, the Pantone color of the year.
Okay.
Viva Magenta.
Viva Magenta. Okay. Okay. Oh, for real?
Yeah, buddy.
That's the Pantone of the.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is not quite bright enough, but it's in the same families and friends.
True.
I'm gonna. Oh,
Is it
am
accessible?
I echoing? Petit peu?
Maybe me. It's true. I can hear myself. I don't know why.
Can you? Because I can hear myself when I talk really loud.
Okay, so let's
Let's shut the frick up, okay? Don't be so frickin' loud all the time.
I think we're good.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No worries.
Because I don't have my echo cancellation on. Toggle on, and you're not allowed to turn it on while you're in process. Unless I guess I leave and then I come back. In which case I could do that, maybe?
Well, you could, but no, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
I have a problem with LinkedIn right now. It doesn't want to feed LinkedIn, and that's why it was canceled last week. I don't know why. LinkedIn
Okay.
is weird, but yeah. Anyway. Okay, so Pantone, is it accessible? Is it, what's the contrast color if it was on background of a button?
White.
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 Oh, good answer. Pass the test.
It would be white, and that
White.
would be perfectly fine.
Right. And what's happening if you hover on it? Do you just change the color if you want to be fully accessible?
You give it a shadow.
A shadow. Okay, so you see a change in the form. It's not just a
And
color.
it goes-
It's something.
it's- It's like push this button.
Or it's underlined. Sometimes experts in accessibility say, when you hover on a button, make the text underline and say, I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
I know, but I don't want.
I don't.
I think that as a group, we pretty much just do that all the time. What were we saying the other day? Every 6 months, we have accessibility day, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it is so important." And then we're like, "Anyways," and then as a field, I'm talking about everybody in
As a
here.
field, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
As a group, we're just like, oh my god, so important. And then we're like, so let's just do our sprint work now.
Let's not add a user story just about accessibility because goddamn.
Couldn't do that.
Oof. Yeah, I don't have the time. Tell me why. And now I need a report of the ROI of doing accessibility thing. And
Yeah.
and maybe I'm okay to lose 5 or 6% of my users suddenly because I'm doing accessibility.
And any government contracts as well. Oh no, we can't have any government contracts. womp womp, then we get in trouble. But I mean, there's lots of out of the box frameworks that are actually just accessible, right? That are just like doing the things.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're building a house out of the box, things should be accessible, but sometimes you just add a step or, or something like that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But who are okay to use an outside of the box design system and not change anything and not just customize
That's
it?
a 0.0000001%, maybe.
And they want to customize it even before starting to implement good features. Yeah, no, make it blue.
Yeah.
Well, just build a goddamn feature. We'll make it blue after. Anyway,
Yeah,
all
right.
design systems are blue.
I do love a good bright blue accent color. I do.
As we can see here.
Yeah, it's got to be pink and blue, or that's it.
That's
That's
it.
as wild as the color palette gets. Actually, we do have lots of colors,
Yeah,
but just not in the brand.
that's true.
Kind of,
We have
yeah.
different. Let's work on the problem of the week if you want, if you shall.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
For it.
Good, good. So,
Yeah.
who's well, we find a problem of the
Which screen you sharing? You're just sharing the home page.
Let me try
Are
to
you-
share this on this one. Yeah, there it is.
Ah,
Okay. So, oh yeah, it's true. I have to share you the whimsical page also. Do you have it somewhere?
I
You
can
know-
find it.
you can
Don't
find
worry.
it, really?
Yeah, if you read out the question, I'll find it that time.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Sorry, I had a
Whoa,
problem,
that I
a
just
technical
heard
problem.
I heard a really long echo that was like what I said
That was
4
me.
seconds ago.
Don't worry.
Okay.
That was me. Okay, so Emilia, let's roll over. There we. You have something to do
Whoa.
here. Emilia, I'm pretty sure it's a real name. It's a real people now. Okay, so copying raw data to multiple other cells. I wanted to do that because it involved not using keyboard to copy paste things. Are you using your mouse or with the menu to copy pasting? I don't anymore. I'm just using my keyboard. Maybe my mom is still doing that. Going to edit, copy, edit, paste. Anyway, and so Emilia said that, well, we have a data table now. Good. Her question is, what's the best way to allow users to easily copy data from one cell and apply it to other cells, not just one, but other cells, and now without using a key combinations? I'm not sure why, but why not? Okay, I was thinking about dragging cell borders horizontally or vertically to apply data to adjacent cells. But oh yeah, it's kind of easy if it's just an input text. But what happens if it's a drop down? Good question. And so I don't know how to activate those borders without expanding on drop down, etc. So it's a classic, right now it's a classic scheduling thing or time tracking data table. So of course, if I'm working, this today 9 to 5, pretty a good chance that I'll do the same thing tomorrow and the day after. So it would be just easier to just copy paste something. But I feel like this problem is very interesting because it's not just duplicating a row, because that could be a solution, but it's copy pasting stuff in other, and sometimes the forms element can be dropped down. So that's a good question. Let's start with the problem statement, shall we? Yeah.
Yes,
What do you think about this problem? Is it interesting? I think so.
it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just thinking, I have thoughts on this, but I'm going to focus on the problem statement
Let's
first.
do that.
Um,
As a user of right now I see as a user of a time tracking app, let's say.
Sure. I want to. I mean, this functionality is all about expedience.
Yeah.
It's all about batch action kind of stuff.
Is it batch action, or I don't want to?
You don't want to do repetitive action
Exactly. I
of
don't want to.
copying and pasting. You could frame it that way too. I don't want.
Of entering the same data again and again, let's say.
Sure.
So one thing I think it's interesting when you copy and pasting data is you taught it once, you know it's the truth, so you don't have to check it again and again and again when you're copy pasting data. You say that's the right one, pasting. I know it's right. I know it's a good one. It's done. So of course it's saving time. But one thing about pasting
But it is
is
accuracy.
accuracy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can we say that?
So that, let's see. I can
So I can have the same value in multiple days. I'll say multiple, not right now it's days. Yeah, let's focus on this moment, days, and know it's all correct. As you know, I want to do repetitive action of entering the same data again and again. It's not duplicating something, right?
no,
So,
no, exactly.
yeah, so I think it's the problem. Well, you said
want
batch
to-
action. You said something like that. So is copy pasting is a problem? I just want to do a batch action of all the hours I did this week. What do you think? Do they really want to copy paste, or they want to enter data in batch, at once? It's a little bit different from duplicating.
It
For
is
example,
super different. Yeah.
I would say, I did, I started at 9 and 5 from Monday to Friday. That's what I want to say. This is what the user wants to say. The system is forcing the user to say, no, you cannot say that. You have to say it day by day. When the user, in fact, would just want to say, I work, 9 to 5 all week. So that's maybe what's the system?
I think I think we could probably work
This captures
Yeah.
the problem. Like, I don't want to do I don't want to do the repetitive action of entering the same data again and again, which is the copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, so that I can have the same value in multiple days, and know it's all correct.
It's good. That's good.
Pretty good.
I think the solutions will maybe differ. We'll maybe have two different kinds of inputs. We'll see. Okay, good. So that's a pretty classic thing we found in enterprise UX. A list of same kind of form. Could be a product, could be time, could be any kind of data, and you actually have to feed the system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've dealt with this problem before specifically. And I'm just trying to remember, how did that actually go? There's what's kind of interesting. A couple questions I would be curious about with this use case would be like, is there a predictability to this beyond like the week that you're talking about? Like, is there any sort of pattern that would repeat itself, or is it really ad hoc? This week I worked, or like I want to put in 1 to 3 because I did 1 to 3, and then next week I did 11 to 1, and then next week I did some other crazy other combo. That'd kind of be my question a little bit. Because that it just kind of brings up the question of templating, or like creating combinations, like we do with UTM.io. Like you kind of, you're creating a combination that's predictable, and then you just put it in one spot and it goes into all the other fields. But if it's not predictable, it needs to be more of like an immediate action that like happens almost as intuitively as entering it in the first place, is sort of what you would imagine.
This other use also is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's is I did something like that in the past. I had this kind of week, I think, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I know it. The last 2 weeks were crazy, but if I'm going back to my normal, work life, it was 3 weeks ago. So why not just copy paste what I did 3 weeks ago, and that's good. So it's maybe predictability. It's maybe just reuse some of the details I did that I remember that they are right. Maybe my manager approved some hours for a special thing. So just reusing the same detail. So it's maybe predictability. It's maybe just, yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's a really good point, because you definitely could, in terms of interactions, like we have a few things in the mix that a few kind of like UI behaviors that
Can address both.
you might be able to use. Autofill, is this okay? Sort of approach, or something different, some more explicit action that you could predict that you could do. Or
Time tracking
we could,
is rarely predicting something. It's mostly, documenting the past, I feel. It's very rare that you're
yeah. I
tracking
just
hours
mean
in advance.
predicting what, no. I just mean predicting based on they copied and pasted it twice.
Oh, yeah.
The same thing. You know what I mean? Like just in that moment.
That's why I'm not sure it's copy pasting. I feel like it's reusing something more than copy pasting. You're reusing the same data from last week or from yesterday or something like that. You're just reuse and then maybe customize or adapt. Maybe you say, I do the same thing. You reuse my time from Monday to Thursday, and Friday I will just, remove maybe half an hour. So maybe
Well,
it's the mindset. Maybe that's the mental model I see more. I don't know. I really don't know.
let's come back to the problem, or to the question again. I was thinking about dragging cell borders horizontally or vertically to apply data to adjacent cells, but the cell is also a drop down. So I don't know how to activate these borders without expanding the drop down. Yes, that would be weird.
This is a form to request new hires with
Different schedules.
So she's
Different
taking
schedules.
a row and she just wants to erase it with new data. That's it. So she's taking.
What do you mean
something.
erase it with new data?
Not erase it. Well, for example, part-time, the next row doesn't have any data. So you can erase it and replace it. I mean, not erasing, replacing it with new data. So you're
Yeah.
selecting a row. You want to use this to replace other rows.
Yeah. So this makes me think about a feature that I worked on. Well, I just did usability testing on it actually. But I tested, it was basically people bringing in samples into a lab. Each of the samples would come with some data that you need to do manual data entry. So there would be a bunch of things that were like the same across multiple samples because they were in the same batch. And we called it copy across. So it was this idea of copy across. So I think that the way it looked was you kind of had like an arrow or something like that. And we did usability testing on it where it's like shoot this arrow and then it would like go and copy the same value across multiple things. But I
That
don't know if
already
you could do
existed,
it
by
in,
the way? They already exist, or were new things? New.
you would enter the value that you wanted once,
Yeah.
and then you would go and then it would go and copy everything across. And I think that in that case it was compliance and stuff, like there was a lot of error prevention that needed to happen. So then I think it locked it in place and was like, okay, this is what you've chosen. So it wasn't like a super flex, like it was kind of flexible but not totally flexible.
But I mean,
That's what
when
I
you-
remember, but I could have dreamed, some of it.
You're not creating any new element or new entity when you're doing that. They all exist, but you're just not replicating what you said. You said
Copy across.
copy across. So they already exist. That's what you did. So that's kind of what we have right now. All the future weeks exist. But you want to copy hours across all the weeks that you want in future. You're not creating a new weeks because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like all the columns are like already there. All the items that are going to be worked on are already there. And then this was just a function to
to yeah, I think
copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
I think the question is focusing on the UI component, the form components, but not sure it should be. And it's not about copy pasting something in the drop down. It's about copy pasting something in a week, whatever it is.
Well,
So-
what's interesting is like they're doing a comparison to real world. Their first impulse was like to emulate Excel because that's what they're saying, right? Like dragging cell borders this way or that way. That's what Excel does. It just copies the same value across and you have control over how far it goes, right? Just by pulling it. But that's a super weird move if you
It's a-
if you have something that's not Excel, right? But that's so yeah.
So that's why focusing on the drop down is maybe the wrong, focus, I think, on the one problem.
Well, that's why that approach is going to be really tough.
Oh yeah, I find it pretty easy in a way. Let's design something so we can maybe just have the same thing for them. So Wednesday, Tuesday, and let's not add any drop down just for sake of conversation. Sunday. So I'm removing one file. So what I want to do here is let's do column. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Can I show you a pattern? I was really
Please.
curious about this because I'm in Calendly, and I remember like they made it fairly expedient in their UI. Am I allowed to share my screen?
You allow, but can you just copy paste something in Whimsical?
Yeah, I'll do a couple screenshots.
We may, lost the screen sharing during the recording. That's why.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Let me just take a couple screenshots and show you how these guys who are obsessed with scheduling do it.
We should.
Oops. Yeah, I need to do it like this. Ugh.
I'll come up with an hypothesis while you're doing that.
Yeah, you try something. I'm not saying that this is what we like should do
No,
or
it's
anything,
interesting.
but it's just interesting how they kind of manage this workflow.
No, there's an action. Feel like we start a table. The last column could be action, right? Action. Could be something pretty easy like link past.
So I think one thing maybe worth mentioning, as we usually go into like a design thing like this, we usually do a little bit of like looking around the world for the different patterns that exist, right? So this is what we're doing. Doing it live though. Whoop.
Good. Edit. That could be one possibility. Okay.
Do 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 do.
Tell me
Why
when
don't we
you're
have
done.
Jeopardy music and like stuff like that?
Good. Could you have something?
These are non-functional requirements.
My quick and easy answer would be to, whoa, where am I right now? Okay. Oh, I see what you're doing now. Oh,
Yeah, I was just copying and pasting them. They're just a little bit of a different approach
interesting.
to this. So they less tabular, I guess, more UI-ish. So they give you this. You have like a set working hours that they pull out of your calendar. So they have a default selection on what is there in the first place. So they're like, okay, well, we know it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And then, so this is for creating availability for an actual event for people to book you. So what you can do is copy. So if you had something weird for your Wednesday, you could copy times for your Wednesday. And then when you go to, you copy it and then you go to click that button again. And you have this drop down that allows you to copy these times to other days.
Wait, you're
And-
clicking on it once and you say, copied, and then you're
copied.
clicking on it again, and it displaying you a list of all the days, and then you choose which days you want to paste it.
Yeah, and then if you want to do an override, so if you want to make an exception, this is basically make an exception. Then on specific days, you can make your exceptions and then specify what hours you are available on specific days if you want to. If you just scroll up a little bit
Interesting.
and over. So then they're in this case though, they're dealing with a dynamic calendar that could have multiple years in it, right? So you're really trying to batch all the things and like make some defaults. Versus this, it seems like we're kind of just setting a schedule to go into a scheduler. That's maybe a bit more
interesting.
predictable, right? So, anyways, I just thought I'm sorry.
No, it's
Thought it
very
was an
interesting.
interesting approach.
Kind of strange that I don't know what's the behavior. I hate when an action is changing behavior based on something I did before. without telling me.
Yeah, I'm not sure it actually, I think it maybe you copy it in one spot. Let me just double check the behavior. So you copy it. I'm just copying for Friday. Oh no, it actually, I lied.
No?
So the tooltip says copy times for Friday. Then you click into it, and then it says copy
just a click,
times to blah, blah, blah. So it actually puts you into the batch action right away based on the values that are in your to field.
I don't dislike this. We could, be inspired by this. So if we say something like copy paste, for example, we're triggering something. And the trigger could be, okay, you want to copy paste something from this row, for example. And what we can do is to create just a simple window or model, and now say, okay, tell me where you want to paste it, and even do a little bit like that. You can override our special override. So you just copy pasting something, you have maybe just model window, and now you can have this list again and say, and same as Calendly, right? And choose which one you want to, but yeah. But I think,
Yep.
yeah, that could be
Yeah,
one.
like handle it step by step. And then I had one, I can show you one potential way as well. Week one. And then I'll just,
Let's try something.
I'm going to try to start from this.
if I can. As much as I love, big whimsical fan, the way they deal with tables is super freaking weird.
Oh yeah, so much. Yeah.
Love you guys. Shout out to Whimsical for what all the great things they do.
But there's a but. Yeah, there's a but.
But this one is one, but it's also, very hard to nail. It took Confluence how many years to get a good table editing
It's
experience?
true. It's true.
Probably like 15. But then it got really, really cool.
It's true.
That's one of those ones where I'm like, I really want to do an article on actually building a table in like a building kind of UI. And then I'm like, that's a little too niche.
Too niche.
4 people per year
Oh, okay.
might want to see something that nerdy, but
It's true. Table is pretty hard.
it's hard. It's hard. Okay. So
People are
text
lucky that
input.
we're editing this. Okay.
Okay, I'll just put what did we have? 7. But it does feel like one of those things where, when you do a repeating event or something like that, like you do have to put it into another workflow-ish feeling thing. Like you're like, oh, this event repeats, and then you specify it repeats and stuff like that. Like there's usually another step to this, but you're kind of
There's
doing something a
usually,
little
but
bit bigger.
yeah. Well, no. I feel like it could be just one step. I feel like, because the problem that we have is just copy pasting stuff, not predicting, not creating an agenda or recurring event or things like that. It's just I have this row, I have this other row, just do something like that. So my first idea was just to say, as soon as you copy something, it's like you're multi-selecting now, and you activate the multi-selection and select the row and say just paste, and that's it. I'm just using the Calendly concept now. If you copy paste something, I'll trigger you something, a model, and now you can choose. I don't dislike that. Because it doesn't override the multi-selection in any way if it's already selected or something like that. Because that was my first thought. Copy paste, multi-selection activated. Now you can paste. But maybe
Oh, yeah.
you already selected something. Or maybe you played with this and now you just want to. So, and I love the model because it's stopping everything you're doing right now. You want to copy paste? Let's do that first, and then you can go back to whatever you did. So you click on it, you replace, you select, and you replace. And then we can maybe add other option. You want to replace that and then change, I don't know. But it's pretty straightforward. It's classic also. Do you need a keyboard? Absolutely not. Is it possible to do that in mobile? For sure. I don't see a problem here. So that's one solution. Let's see. Oh, so you would like to copy horizontally.
In a direction, maybe. Yeah, it's just it's one potential. So this one would just be like a mechanism that needs to be showing up. Oh. Copy. I'm just gonna steal the name of the one I worked on before across.
You're
Say,
making me think now.
or if it wants to be, super flexible, copy down or something. Down. Oh, come on, I can type
Oh yeah, I've seen you type.
and I can read. So, yeah, copy across, copy down. I obviously spacing wise, you'd need to kind of navigate if you wanted to actually handle both, because doing one would actually do a lot for you, I would think, in terms of making, giving yourself the ability to do things quick. What else was okay? So I just wanted to see if I understood your flow, Benoit.
And same thing for you. I want to understand it also. You
Okay,
just gave me
so
an
let
idea,
me-
and while you explained it, again. So copy cross, copy it down. That would be good. Now that mean that if you're copying, this will move to the next one, the next one, the next one, or will copy the whole row.
Yeah, let me just show you. So, yeah, like how would the logic work basically? So, yep. Spacing. Lasai, it's hard. For everyone in the audience, spacing is hard. So if it's making you mad right now, you have a lot of other designers in the world that are also mad. Okay, so this is sort of step one here. So one way this could work, I'll just do a cursor because I just love a good little cursor. So one way this could work would be to basically have these little buttons type of things available on each of the inputs. And
Any
from
kind
the
of
point,
inputs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Could be
then,
drop down, could be radio button, whatever it is.
yeah, but they're separate. Yeah, totally. But they're separate from the actual input that you're dealing with. So then the idea could be that they show up and it basically takes the value associated with this thing and then shoots it all the way to whatever direction you're going. So in this case, I did it on the first one, and then the second step of this is that it shows up on all of these down here. But maybe I could do it, on Wednesday, and then it could just shoot across to Thursday, Friday, and leave these ones alone. With the idea that it just overwrites anything that you're doing. So with the kind of stakes like this, overwriting, the work is sort of a bit more, a little bit less of like a big deal. And then, yeah, so that's one way that that you could kind of do that same Excel idea, but without that dragging sort of
Just copy pasting.
concept.
It go just in one direction. It's very hard to just go in the opposite direction or up or right or
Exactly. It would be like
that's
you'd have to put some constraints on it and just be like, it goes left to right, it goes up and down. If you did it like, I would start to be like, this is diminishing returns. If you make it so flexible, you can do it any direction and do it horizontally and do it, or do it, this way diagonally or like crazy stuff like that. I think it would start to get really expensive. Sort of
Absolutely,
my
I can
thought.
feel, and that means we also understand the problem quite well. We did a lot of observation, sorry, and we've seen that the user have this problem mainly that they know what they are doing Monday and they just want to well, I know, it's pretty much the same for the whole week, so please copy across. That means that 80%, for example, of people say that's what I want to do. We're not sure about the problem, what people want to do. Do we want to copy paste something that happened the week before or just yesterday or
Well,
that's what
it says
want
the
to know.
people's schedules, right? So
Schedules could be a lot of things.
but your schedule could vary as well, I guess. But like
It's
if
a
you work
form to
in
request new hires for different schedules. This is a form to request new hours with different schedules. What does that mean?
maybe it's a company that hires like a lot of workers, and so they want to say, "Oh, I'm changing my or this is my schedule," and then you can see if that's compatible with what the company needs. Therefore, you'll hire them or not hire them based on their availability.
Huh.
I'm imagining.
I am same here. So it could be something like you have a typical schedule and you're applying this typical schedule to new hires. So for example, it could be a go see most of the people who stack things are at night and maybe during the weekend. And so I already know that I can just copy paste an employee that have this kind of schedule to all the new hires, for example, because I create a couple of hires. I had new employees. So feel it's not necessary day by day. Feel like there's a pattern somewhere. Maybe you're copy pasting a pattern. A pattern could be a day. I don't know. Anyway, it's assumptions that we don't have to think about. We're thinking too well. So my hypothesis is just when you copy pasting something, you're triggering something, and now you have a matrix, and you can select the column and the line, and you copy paste, and you just replace, and that's it. So
But how do you tell me step by step?
Yeah. So
Are all
I'm
of
not
these
sure at all.
all selected at the same time and stuff,
No,
or
just-
you do
just
one
one
at a
second.
time?
Yeah, you would do one at a time. So my first thought was just line by line because that's the goal, row by row. One cell to the other cell. So it's one cell, so I have to choose a cell. So it's maybe wrong now. If I'm clicking on copy paste, I have this model appearing to me. Now
Okay.
I could now have a sea of checkbox everywhere, 9 to 5, for example, and select a whole row, for example, or just a day, or just specific cells. I could do that. Or I could just click a couple of cells, say, okay, this, replace, click replace, and that's it. So while I was explaining it to you, it doesn't make sense now. But it could by row, by day, or just cell by cell. If I'm selecting, for example, this row, every cell would be checked, for example. Replace this with whatever.
Because you have the 9 to 5 value in your clipboard?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I'm copy pasting a row now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it's not great. So maybe if I hover on one cell, the icon just appear, or I can paste it. and then it will trigger this model, but it will be just one cell after one cell. That's the problem. It's one cell. So if let's say, okay, let's design something quickly, just for fun. We have information here. Let's remove all of this. Oh, no, let's keep it just for fun. So let's say I have some content here, and I have this here, and the content could be just, 9 to 5. So she said, Emilia, that I want to copy paste this cell. So if I'm doing that, I should remove all the checkbox here and just not even, add anything here and put the checkbox pretty much everywhere and say, well, I'm just displaying your data table, choose the cell you want to replace it with, and that's it. And maybe we are overthinking it, but yeah. So I would remove all of this. Make it just cell by cell as an MVP kind of thing. Monday,
Yeah, it could totally be like, I mean, it could be a modal, or it could be a mode switch or something like that.
Exactly.
Like you could initiate this copy action here, and then it could sort of go,
That's
like
better
it could be a mode
because,
change.
That's way better. That's way better. Absolutely. Because, yeah, no, I'm not changing the context of views. Way better. So I'm even removing that, removing this column, in fact, because she never asked for it. Good. And now you're just adding checkbox everywhere.
Oops. Oh, what the frick? Oh, Okay, let's try that again. A little do-over. Okay. I don't know why it's not doing like a full color for me, but that's okay. Done. Okay. So then maybe it's just a simple like modifier mode switch that you kind of go into like this. And then
I would prefer saying paste or replace the actual verb of the action and done, maybe. What do you think?
paste.
And replace.
I think we'd probably want to count in there too, just to confirm like what you're doing.
Okay.
Actually a count is not necessary because the UI could just be like have that have in place feedback. So a count is maybe a bad idea. So if we did something like this, and then something like this, Benoît, some kind
Instead
of selector.
of checkbox, of course, why not?
Yeah, and then you just go through like similar to the shading that you did on the other ones, and then you just go like you just like click them, and then maybe they, I don't know, do like a
I see what you mean.
thing. This is sort of weird. It's
Or a checkbox or something like that. You can say check.
Sure, yeah, just do a big check mark. People love a good check mark. This is a scientific fact at this point.
I just maybe need to show the original. Maybe that's the original. 9 to 5.
Well, that's the question. Do you show what it's going to be, or do you show like for the individual cells? Are you saying?
Well, I
Yeah,
need to give this feedback to the user, right? You copy pasting from something. Or when you click on it, you do actually see 9 to 5. I mean the new data.
Yeah, you could do that too. And yeah.
Okay, so let's remove that. So now we move on. You just trigger
It keeps on changing the size.
Um,
Oh, this design is horrible.
so that means you have, okay, what would be best, in fact, not to have an icon everywhere, but to switch mode, to switch to copy paste mode. And then when you copy paste mode, this is where you can,
Well, I like that original trigger because it's intuitive. Like it's you don't have to know what this means. You just have to start doing it. And then it's like, "Brr, where do you want to paste to?" And then you go do 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 and you select all these like
So-
zones that you want. And then then you get a confirmation mode. Like it doesn't happen too quick, but it doesn't happen too slow.
got it. The only
That's
thing
my-
now I would say that is
my hot take.
absolutely, and following your take is show the icon just on hover. You know, just display the copy paste everywhere. Just on a hover. Okay, now I can click on the icon. I'm copy pasting it, and when I'm doing that, you know, I'm switching mode, and now I can select all the cells and scroll whatever it is. Apply. Paste. Have this feedback. Oh, that's good. That's a classic. It's great because you're locking all the functionality of, so you may need a cancel, by the way, all the functionality of the data table. And so you can eliminate everything, you know, you don't have to sort whatever. Now you're just selecting to paste it.
Yeah.
And going back to, good to do.
That's fun.
And you don't
I
need
love a good mode
keyboard.
switch in a good moment. Yeah.
What about mobile? How I would trigger the paste, the copy in mobile, or on a touch interface, let's say, touch interface.
Um, well, when you actually touch the value or the cell, that means you either want to edit it or you either want to if it exists in that cell already, you either want to modify it or you want to copy it. So maybe in the touch scenario, maybe you would sort of
Touching a cell that has a value.
would then give you two choices on what you could do. Or you could do a double tap as well to differentiate. Or a long tap or something between the two. Yeah, it's hard. I'm like, I want to try it and see how it's working.
But a long tap would mean I activate the copy mode. Okay, great. So I'm holding on it 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, good. I'm triggering this mode, and that's it. That could be one.
That could be good because that's sort of typical for the gestures that you're doing on across
Right.
touch interfaces, right? You hold for like a long time and then you get your
Something-
copy
Exactly.
stuff versus like a tap initiates your keyboard, you start typing or
Don't play with
whatever
the
it
tap.
is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So long.
and it's a cell. It's big enough for a finger, so it's great. You just copy paste. I feel it would be even easier than sometimes on a mouse because you just copy paste and paste. That's it. That's good. Touch. I think we found our solution. And is it feasible? It's quite feasible. It's not that complicated to do. You know.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, never having coded anything before, I think that this is very feasible.
I think so.
And everyone should agree.
Everyone should agree.
And that's how you really nail the design dev collaboration thing.
If you agree, Dev, we succeed.
You just say, "Hey, please, can we do it?" And then they're like, "Yes."
Now it's just became feasible by magic. Okay.
It's just yay.
The dev said yes, so it's feasible. He didn't come back with an estimate or anything, but he said yes, so we're good.
Yeah.
You
Get
know,
that green light. I love that.
Not in my sandbox anymore. Oh, let's review everything we did. I'm following you. Let's summarize this. Yeah.
Oh, Benoit, but you deleted your original. that you had. So we can't talk about
you don't like
that many different versions. You don't like it, but it still happened. Okay, let's summarize. Are you ready?
I'm more than ready. I was
More
born
than
in the UX
ready.
design.
Okay, great. Okay, so our friend on UX StackExchange came to us with a problem. They wanted to copy row data to multiple other cells. So in this case, they were thinking, hey, I want the value from Monday to go over to the rest of the row, or maybe I want to pull it down and apply it, across these different rows. Basically, what do I do here? I was thinking I was going to emulate the Excel or Sheets sort of pattern, but it's not going to work with the drop down. So naturally, we formed our actual problem to have a bit of a sanity check to know what are we doing and why are we doing it. So this is the problem that we came up with here. Do you want to go over there?
It's true. Sorry.
A little bit higher. Yeah. And I can make this guy a little bigger. Okay. So here's our problem. As a user of a time tracking app / scheduling app, I don't want to do the repetitive action of entering the same data again and again, i.e. Command, copy, command, paste like a million times, so that I have the same value in multiple days and know it's all correct. So our proposal. So we tried a couple of things as we went through this process. We talked about the Calendly patterns, which are really optimized for batching actions, and they're kind of like infinite, right, into the future. So so there's a lot of kind of optimizing that they do there. So we've got the ability to copy times and then paste and then apply them to multiple things. So they're kind of full of batch actions in that sense. So we took a look at the existing patterns. We also thought about this kind of concept here where we within the UI could do kind of a recurrent simple arrow system that would copy the values across or down as well. So that was one concept that we looked at. And then the mystery one that's not here anymore is one that Benoît was looking at, where you basically have commands or actions at the end of each row that you can basically copy the whole row, paste the whole row, things like that. And then what we came to, our proposal in the end, which we would love to user test on mobile and desktop, is something a bit like this. So basically, when you have your value 9 to 5 and you want to apply it to some more cells, you would hover on this value or long press on mobile and put that value basically into your clipboard. That would be the trigger, which would initiate a mode change that we see here, where it says, okay, choose the value, choose the cells you want to apply 9 to 5 to. And so you go through there and you go bleep, 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 bleep. And then basically hit paste or done or whatever it is. And so you just have kind of a seamless little mode switch in there. So the benefits of taking an approach like this is that you don't have potential issues around the direction like we have with our arrows, and like making sure that people know what they've overwritten and stuff like that. And you don't have the restriction of like just applying these kind of things to like a row only, right? So you have kind of maximum flexibility, and our theory would be that this is like a really expedient way to do this, where you maintain context of what you're actually working on while still being able to apply batch actions pretty quick. So that's our proposal. So, it's not Excel. But it's really hard to like make Excel be in your product. We've tried.
You can have a good fight with Excel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's give Paste a chance. Let's see if Emilia will love it. I'm very curious to experience it. I would love to prototype it and see people using it. Thank you, Kira.
Thank you.
Again, if you have any problem, contact us, join us live if you want. You know where we are, and we'll be happy to work on a problem with you. We'll have another Dev Problem of the Week next week. Subscribe to your newsletter to know more about this problem. We'll try to break it down a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. Again, thank you.
That's it.